This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nashay Taylor. Fargo Dome officials are now investigating claims of an employee allegedly using discriminatory language during a discussion while working Saturday's Bison versus Fighting Hawks game. This video was sent in to us by a whistleblower who states a day worker was asked to take off a scarf he was wearing on his head. According to the whistleblower, the other individual later mentioned it was worn as part of his Islamic faith, but he was still asked to take it off. The employee, who's accused of using the discriminatory language, was asked if the rule still applied to women wearing hijabs.
If she comes here in a rag, she's not working. You have to see the face, you have to see the hair. There's no mask here, no rags here.
Well, in a statement, Fargo Dome's general manager said, quote, "There are no restrictions on articles of clothing worn pertaining to an individual's faith." The GM, as the video has been forwarded to the appropriate Fargo Dome departments and the city of Fargo for further investigation. Now, if you have a tip, you can call our whistleblower hotline at the number on your screen. It's 701-369-3187. Now, there's new information tonight. Fargo police have confirmed the identities of two men killed in yesterday's shooting. They are 27-year-old Kier Davies and 28-year-old Jaquan Gatewood, both of Fargo. Fargo police responded to a shots fired call just after 3:15 yesterday morning. That's when both of the men were found deceased in the 1000 block of 15th Street North. FPD says both victims were known to each other. Family and friends continue to speak out on the loss of these two lives, including Kier Davies.
He was a loving, caring, ambitious person, a very great dad, for sure. He had a vibe and a personality that was unmatched. That's what I can say.
The investigation into what happened is still ongoing. Police say at this time they are continuing to search for witnesses that may have witnessed the incident. If you have any information, please call the Red River Regional Dispatch at the number on your screen. It's 701-451-7660. At least 5 people are dead and more than 24 others injured after a gunman reportedly opened fire at a Colorado Springs gay nightclub. According to police, the shooting happened just before midnight at Club Q in Colorado Springs. Police have identified the 22-year-old suspect, who was ultimately stopped by 2 club customers. He was arrested by police within minutes of the rampage. Police say 2 firearms were also found on the scene. Investigators are now working to determine a motive and whether it should be considered as a hate crime. Well, Thanksgiving is just a few days away and temperatures are slowly possibly going up, and there may be a first alert weather day in your forecast. Shelby's here now to tell us more.
Yes, so starting off, we are seeing cooler temperatures just for the next 24 hours, but we do have a first alert weather day coming up towards the end of the week. But here in Fargo, we are seeing those temperatures still cool. We're currently sitting at 18 degrees with those winds out of the southwest at 10 miles an hour, which is giving us a slight feels like and wind chill temperature at just 6 degrees. But for the rest of the tri-state area, we are seeing those temperatures also starting to dip into those teens with Halleck at 10. But we also have Minot still in those 30s at 30 degrees for them. But overall, those temperatures are still in those 20s with Detroit Lakes at 21 and Bemidji at 21 as well. But we do have clear skies for North Dakota as well. And those clouds in Minnesota are continuing to move off into the rest and eastern part of Minnesota and Wisconsin, and here in Fargo, as we had throughout the next couple hours, those temperatures will continue to decrease into those lower teens. But I'll have your full hour-by-hour forecast and those temperatures and the first alert weather day coming up in just a few minutes. Nishay?
All right, thank you so much, Shelby. 2 of America's largest railroad unions are set to reveal whether they are closer to a strike on Monday. The unions representing engineers and conductors say their sticking point is more about working conditions rather than wage increases for the 60,000 railroad workers who are members of the 2 unions. Experts warn the U.S. economy would lose $2 billion each day railroad workers are on strike. With the midterms over, the government now enters what's called a lame duck session. It means that in this period of time where the party in power, in this case the Democrats, still have that power to get stuff done before they lose it. Here's a quick breakdown.
First things first, in this lame duck session, Congress has to prevent a shutdown by funding the government. They'll also probably pass the National Defense Authorization Bill, which sets aside money for the U.S. military. The deadline for that, December 16th. Then, just this week, 12 Republican senators joined Democrats in announcing support for a narrow but important bill that would enshrine protections for same-sex and interracial marriage.
Today, the Senate is taking a truly bold step forward in the march towards greater justice, greater equality, by advancing the Respect for Marriage Act.
Look for that to get a full floor vote soon. Also, both parties are working together on a bill related to how Congress counts electoral votes after a presidential election. It's a response to what happened after 2020 and would make clear the vice president's role is purely ceremonial. It'll also define the number of lawmakers it takes to challenge an electoral vote. On the COVID front, Democrats are expected to try for $10 billion in new pandemic money to help with vaccines and treatments. And finally, Democrats could bring forward a bill that would protect so-called dreamers, the hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. at a young age, a fix that could include a pathway to citizenship.
Former Vice President Mike Pence spoke today on the raid of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. When asked about the classified documents seized during the FBI raid, Pence said the situation could have been handled differently.
I just think there were many better ways to obtain those classified materials from Mar-a-Lago than to execute a search warrant against a former president of the United States of America. But the idea of executing a search warrant against a former president of the United States sent the wrong message to the American people and frankly sent the wrong message to the wider world.
Meanwhile, Elon Musk reinstated former President Trump's Twitter account yesterday, but Trump doesn't seem to be in a rush to start using the platform once again.
I hear we're getting a big vote to also go back on Twitter. I don't see it because I don't see any reason.
Trump had been banned from Twitter for 22 months, ever since the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol. Musk, the new owner of Twitter, based his decision on a poll of Twitter users. After 15 million votes, Trump was reinstated by a 52-48% margin. It's the time of year for trips to see loved ones, and this year travelers may be met with sticker shock. Travel platform Hopper reports Thanksgiving and Christmas airfares are the highest seen in 5 years. Domestic round-trip tickets are averaging $350 for Thanksgiving and more than $450 at Christmas. More people are expected to be taking trips this year, which could be good for local airports. Experts say in order to make sure your travel plans run without a hitch, the earlier you plan, the better. Also, if you are flying, it's a good idea to arrive at least 90 minutes before departure and, of course, prepare for winter weather conditions on the roads. The company HotelPlanner.com says it's already seeing a 52% increase in hotel bookings for Thanksgiving weekend. The American Hotel and Lodging Association estimates hotel leisure travel revenue is up 14% nationally, but the industry is still facing a real staffing shortage.
But now we've seen the rise of the gig economy, of people taking their own careers in their own hands with technology, as well as companies like Amazon and others that are staffing large warehouses. And so all of a sudden the competition for labor is a little bit different.
While those looking to stay in a hotel for their holiday travel plans, it is recommended to book early. Major retailers say their supply chains are finally almost back to normal operations just in time for Black Friday. Walmart says it secured additional inventory of products popular for the holidays, from electronics to home appliances. Over at Target, the retailer is able to roll out deep holiday discounts once again. Retailers add that demand will be the main constraint on sales this season, not the availability of products. The holiday meal is a staple for many on Thanksgiving, but this year's feast is expected to cost 20% more than last year's average. According to a Farm Bureau survey, a meal for 10 people will cost around $64, which is an increase from last year's $53. Experts say you can save money by shopping early and comparing prices, going wholesale to get key ingredients in bulk, or creating new food traditions with cheaper items. That sounds pretty good. Coming up, a local teen has a long recovery after being involved in an ATV crash. Later on Valley News Live at 10, we share how the community is stepping up.
And we do have a first alert weather day starting Wednesday night into Thursday afternoon for your holiday. But I have your full hour-by-hour forecast and how that will impact your weather and holiday plans coming up just after the break.